What's going on, Blitz Talk TV? I am your host, DJ Fundraiser, coming to you with some rapid fire NFL headlines. Gonna go over some off-season things. I hope you guys are enjoying your off-season. You know, it's a long period of time for us NFL fans when we gotta sit here and wait for the next season. Shout out my co-host Relic, who will be back on with us next week when we do our free agent special. Blitz Talk, make sure y'all get ready and tuned in for that. But we're gonna go over some things real fast. We'll start with the we knew this was going to happen, but Dallas franchise tagging George Pickens, which I think was a smart thing to do. Now, where does this put the Cowboys going forward offensively? Because I did think losing him would have been a big deal. I did. George Pickens had a great season. He played top five receiver ball last season. I think if they would have lost him, that definitely would have took them a step back. Not that they could have not, made another trade, maybe for like an AJ Brown or something to replace him, but it was very important, especially because Dak did have really good chemistry with him. It was very important for them to bring him back. It was very important to bring him back. Now the number is going to be high. The number is going to be high. Obviously, if you don't know how the franchise tag works, you come back on a 1 year deal at the highest salary at that position. So he is set to make $27 million next year. A lot of money. A lot of money. Now, that means that they are definitely paying their receivers because, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, on top of my head, CD's making more than that. They just gave CD Lamb more than that. So they're paying their receivers a lot of money, somewhere around 60 or $70 million. So a lot of money, but like I said, the Cowboys made some sneaky good moves at the deadline. I like the Logan Wilson move, the Quentin Williams move defensively. If the Cowboys can continue to make good moves, they will have something going forward. Now, Dak kind of getting up there in age. I don't know how long his window is, especially with the injuries he's had. So you do need to kind of go all in. We'll see if Jerry Jones goes all in this free agency. We'll talk about that coming up a little bit soon. Now, I just want to talk about something that was pretty funny. Aaron Glenn falling asleep at the combine. Come on, man. Come on, Aaron Glenn. Come on, man. They already calling for your job, and now you falling asleep at the combine. Come on, man. Come on, man. Live television, and you falling asleep. Come on, man. I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt, and I'm gonna hope that he wasn't asleep. I really hope Aaron Glenn was not asleep at the combine, man. Because the Jets, if you're a Jets fan, it's got to be like being like publicly castrated. Like every single year, you get reminded of how bad the Jets are. Like every single year, you're reminded how bad the Jets are. But they have not been good at drafting. I mean, how many Pro Bowl level players have they drafted within the last 10 years? We're talking about maybe three. Sauce Gardner, Quentin Williams. Like, I'm sorry, who are still on the roster? I forgot to add. Within the last 10 years, we're talking Garrett Wilson and Brees Hall. Those are the last two players they've drafted that are still on the roster right now in the last 10 years who are Pro Bowl, all pro level players. And Brees Hall's a free agent. I don't even think he's coming back. If I was Brees Hall, I wouldn't come back. Why would you come back? If I'm him, I'm going to a contender. And I'm gonna obviously talk about that next week with Relic on the free agent special. But if I'm Brees Hall, I'm not coming back to this. But Aaron Glenn, I'm just gonna give you the benefit of the doubt. I'm gonna hope you weren't sleeping on national television because that's just sad. That's just sad. That's absolutely sad. As bad as that team is, you need to be locked in. You need to be locked in to every single thing that's going on. So I'm just gonna hope that you were not sleeping. I'm gonna pray that you were not sleeping because that's bad. That is really, really bad. So also we had a trade where Trevondre Sweat was traded for Jermaine Johnson. Titans Jets make that swap. So weird trade in my opinion. Rare that you get player for player, but and obviously this trade can't happen until the league year opens on March 11th. But what I think Robert Saleh, because he's now coaching over with the Titans, probably was interested in Jermaine Johnson to bring him back over there. But I guess if someone's going to get the most out of him, it is going to be Robert Saleh. That was the last time Johnson was a Pro Bowler in 2023. But he's also had injuries, so there's also that as well. Um, but I think the move is good because you did need to put pass rush around Jeffrey Simmons, who is a All Pro level player. So I still think they need to get some work, but you know, I like the move. I like the move as far as for the Titans. The Jets, I don't like anything they do. I just don't like it. I don't think this doesn't do anything for me as far as the Jets. I know Robert Saleh's going to use Jermaine Johnson in a way that's going to get the most out of him because that was the last time he was productive. But as far as you know, as far as the Jets are concerned, every move they've made I haven't liked. So it's not. I don't think they should have traded Jermaine Johnson. I don't think that was smart. But I do like Sweat as a interior guy because they did struggle against the ones run. So that helps them in that aspect. But losing Jermaine Johnson does not help. I like Jermaine Johnson. So I know he's kind of struggled, but he's had injuries. So I would have not given up on him so fast. He was just a Pro Bowler 2 years ago. So, but we'll see what happens. Also, I did see that Anthony Richardson mutually agreed to seek a trade. So Anthony Richardson wants out of the Colts. I don't blame him. They kind of gave up on him pretty fast. He didn't have a lot of NFL experience to start, so I don't know what the Colts were doing trading for him that high and then not really giving him a chance to develop. But we'll see. They've kind of gone all in on Daniel Jones, so if I was him, I would also be looking to get traded too. I would love to see him go to the Rams and be the long term project for Sean McVay. That would be awesome, but it's kind of hard to say. He's had some injuries as well. He needs to actually learn the game of football as far as the quarterback's position. I don't know. They give up on young quarterbacks very fast. I'm looking at Trey Lance, Zach Wilson, Josh Rosen not that long ago. They give up on young quarterbacks pretty fast. If you're not great early, they give up on you pretty fast. So it's hard to say if Anthony Richardson is going to be a starter again if they trade him. I think he gets one more opportunity, and if he doesn't do what he needs to do after that, it's kind of say it's kind of hard to say. It's really really hard to say. It's really hard to say. I'm not gonna lie. Also, there has been rumblings of a possible AJ Brown to the Patriots trade, which would reunite him with Mike Brable, his former coach. I would like that trade to the Patriots. I would like that. Putting AJ Brown opposite of Butte, I would like that. That would give them the target they really need. Stephon came back, and you can move him possibly to the slot. You would have something. You would have something. You would definitely have something for sure. AJ Brown would is to me still a very productive receiver. I don't think he's someone that has fell off as much as people say. He did not look good in the playoffs, I will say that. But, you know, we'll see what happens with that because he does seem to want out, and I don't see him being an Eagle next year. I don't see that. I think that train that train's left the station. I think he's not going to be an Eagle next year. We'll talk more about where I think he's actually going to go in the free agency special. So y'all tune in to that next week, Blitz Talk TV. But moving on from that, I also saw some talk about Trent Williams. The fact that Trent Williams is going to be a free agent is crazy. Now he is making a lot of money. He's making like $38 million. So knowing the 49ers are kind of in a weird spot because they're paying Purdy a lot of money. They're paying McCaffrey a lot of money. They're paying everybody on their team a lot of money. All the stars are getting a lot of money. So if I'm John Lynch, are we closer to winning now than we were last year or 2 or 3 years ago? Probably not because the Ayuk situation and Debo Samuel falling off, and you traded him, and now your defense, you got Fred Warner coming off an injury, and Joey Bosa was hurt, and I'm sorry, not Joey Bosa, Nick Bosa was hurt. They have a lot of injuries that have kind of ruined that roster, so it's kind of hard to say what they're going to be going forward. It's very hard to say. But I do think that they should have kept Trent Williams, but that number is high. 38 million for a tackle is high. That's a high number. But to me, he's still one of, if not the best tackle in the league. So I see him being a very sought after free agent. Where he will go, tune in to Blitz Talk TV for the free agency special, and I'll tell you exactly where I think he's going. Also, one of the other things I want to talk about is the Browns QB job because Andrew Berry, the GM of the Browns, said that Deshaun Watson is going to compete with the job for Shedeur Sanders. I want to say this because Deshaun Watson at one point was a top 5 quarterback. This man hasn't played relevant or good football in about 5 years. I don't know what they think they're going to see now. Todd Monk is now the coach. He's discussed about when someone's that talented, you give them a chance. That was 5 years ago, Todd Monken. That's 5 years ago. That was literally 5 years ago. That was literally 5 years ago. You are discussing something that happened 5 years ago. Come on, man. Come on, man. You're talking about something that literally happened during the pandemic. Or come on, man. The last time he was a Pro Bowler was the pandemic. Come on, man. Todd Monkey, you need to be worried about developing I almost said Shedeur Sanders. You need to be figuring out how you're going to get the most out of him because I did see things that can be developed. I did see things that can be developed. Like, come on. You're talking about the last. I want y'all to remember this. The last time that Deshaun Watson played relevant football, Kobe died. That was the last time. Kobe had died. I remember exactly where I was and where, like I remember the moment. But think about that. That's the last time Deshaun Watson played relevant football. Kobe Bryant had died. Biden had beat Donald Trump for presidency. That was the last time Deshaun Watson played relevant football. COVID had just been identified earlier that year, early in the year. Come on, man. That's the last time Deshaun Watson played relevant football. You talking about giving him a chance. That's just a very Browns thing to do. Shedeur Sanders gives you the first glimpse of light that you've seen in I don't know how long, and you say, we're going to think about putting Deshaun Watson out there. All right, man. Very Browns thing to do. Very Browns thing to do. Terrible. Just terrible. Very Browns thing to do. They just don't want to give Shedeur Sanders a chance. They just don't. It's bad. Hopefully that brother gets off that team. Because it's ridiculous. It truly is. Truly, truly ridiculous. Moving on, I want to talk a little bit about where we see the quarterbacks in the draft. We're going to also have a draft special, Blitz Talk TV, so I'm not going to get too much into it. But what I'm thinking is, who is the second quarterback behind Mendoza? It's hard to say. There were a lot of guys who were high in the season, and then they fell off because of bad play. But clearly Mendoza proved that he is the number one. I think that's been proven. I don't think there's a, discussion about that. But who is after that? Because there's not a lot of quarterbacks in this free agency. Someone's gonna overpay Malik Willis, but after that, there's not a lot. Is someone going to use the draft capital to make a trade for one of those quarterbacks I talked about last week on Blitz Talk TV? We'll see. Because the more and more that things develop, it seems like more teams than I even think are going to be looking for a quarterback. So I just want to throw out some names and Blitz Talk. Y'all let me know in the comments what you guys think of these names. Ty Simpson from Alabama. Now he's about 6'2", 208. He had a hot streak after week 1 after Florida State, but it's kind of hard to say. It's kind of hard to say. I think he holds the ball a little bit too much, and his accuracy comes and goes. His accuracy does come and go. But I did see something that could be developed, though. I did see something that he could be developed. He did throw 19 touchdowns and only 1 interception over an 8-game stretch. That's very impressive. So we will see. Trinidad from Ole Miss. Now he's only 6 foot, so that's concerning. But once again, he only had 1 season at the Division I football level. So you're projecting a lot. And Ole Miss, someone brought this up on the draft coverage. Ole Miss's passing scheme does not translate well to the NFL. That is true. There's not a lot of Ole Miss quarterbacks running around. There's just not. Now there's Garrett from LSU. Once again, he kind of has his trepidations. He's kind of a daredevil with the ball. Good and bad. In the NFL, they punish you for being a daredevil. But he was also kind of up and down. He was up and down. He had a lot of injuries, so there's also that as well. But he only threw 12 touchdowns and 5 interceptions in 9 games. Nothing to ride home about. There's Carson Beck. I'm not a huge Carson Beck guy, just personally, but we'll see. He's a 6-year senior. He's kind of already getting up there in age already. So it's hard to project him, really. It's hard to project him. And he does not react well to pressure. Now there's a 6'6" Taylor Green from Arkansas. Big dude. 6'6", 224. Big dude. But he also has his struggles. He just, to me, seeing him, he has a lack of feel for quarterbacks sometimes. Struggles against pressure. He doesn't get rid of the ball, to me, as fast as he should. A lot of indecision. But we'll see. These are guys who were really projected high early on. Some of them even over Mendoza. That kind of fell off. So it's hard to say who's going to be the second best quarterback in this draft. We know who number 1 is. And I'm just going to give you the spoiler. This is not a prediction. It's a spoiler, Blitz Talk. Mendoza's going number 1. And he should go number 1. Great season. Took a franchise, college, who had never sniffed in a national championship. Is known more for basketball than football. Rightfully so. He took them to the national championship and beat very good teams along the way. Played big-time football. Showed traits to me of an NFL quarterback. I think he should clearly go number 1. And Raiders, hopefully you don't screw it up. The Raiders tend to, I would know as a Broncos fan. But you do have someone to me who can be a franchise quarterback in Mendoza. So Blitz Talk TV, that's a spoiler. He's going number 1. If he doesn't go number 1, I don't know what to say after that. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say if he doesn't go number 1. He's clearly the best quarterback in the draft. Probably a top 3 player overall of the draft. I think there's some guys who may be better than him, but tune into the NFL Draft Preview, Blitz Talk TV, and we'll talk more about that. Last thing I do want to talk about. Now, Blitz Talk, we just got to be real about some things, man. We have to be real about some things. I just have to say this, and this is just something where you know it's bad, man. It's bad. It's really bad. It's really really bad. The Cincinnati Bengals, man. The Cincinnati Bengals. They're thinking about moving Trey Hendrickson. Your defense was already bad. Your defense was already bad. And now you're talking about moving Trey Hendrickson. You already have enough holes to fill on the roster. Now you want to have to fill pass rusher, one of the hardest ones to fill, and expensive. They're gonna waste the prime of Joe Burrow, man. I already know this, and I hate to see the prime of quarterbacks get wasted. I just hate to see that. We had to see it with Andrew Luck. Like it's his Joe Burrow's career arc more and more because me and Relly talked about this is looking more and more like Andrew Luck, where he puts up outstanding numbers, and because his team around him is being developed by someone, or in this case the cheap Bengals, like it's just ridiculous. It's truly ridiculous that they're even thinking about trading Trey Hendrickson. It's truly ridiculous. It really is. To me, once again, they have so many holes to fill. They have so many holes to fill. But once again, I do hope that one day someone is able to get Trey Hendrickson out of that just shadow realm of Cincinnati. It's ridiculous. It's truly ridiculous. It's truly ridiculous. You're gonna trade Trey Hendrickson, one of the best pass rushers over the last 3 to 5 years. It's ridiculous. It's truly ridiculous. But Bliss Talk TV, we're just gonna let the Bengals be the Bengals. It's just so bad. It is so bad. It's just bad. It's so bad. Bliss Talk, that was a free agency roundup real fast. Want to thank all of our supporters. Make sure y'all get to and from that like button. Get to it, like it, get from it, follow. If you don't follow already, follow us on all platforms: TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, all that. Next week is our free agency special. Relic will be back, and we will be having a big time free agency special. Bliss Talk TV. Leave your comments. Thank you for tuning in.